So just a couple of words. I know that most of us are familiar with Satsang. It's basically just a meeting in love, a meeting in peace, a meeting in love and beauty. And in Satsang, it's the meeting is a meeting with oneself. We are never meeting somebody else, which is really beautiful because with yourself you can relax. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to defend anything. You don't need to impress anyone. You can just simply be yourself. So it's a meeting with oneself. It's an exploration. Exploration of the reality of our experience. And in order to explore the reality of our experience, somehow we have to turn our attention away from what we know, away from our belief structure, and just be in presence. It's, in a way, on one hand, it's very easy to do because presence is the primordial experience, and the mind, meaning thoughts and sensations, come in a way after presence. Presence is our primordial experience. And the way to come to your primordial experience is to relax. Relax your body, relax your shoulders, relax your belly, and invite your thoughts and your bodily sensations to just also be free and experience the freedom in which they are arising, so that whatever arises in your mind and in your body takes you to the freedom, takes you to the space, takes you to the openness in which they are arising. And in doing so, all the issues that seemed to be troubling you and that were requesting a solution will find their solution, will find their answer, because the answer to all your problems, to all the mind's problems, is peace and happiness. Not a peace and happiness that depends on anything, but the freedom that is inherent in peace and happiness. Freedom from any condition. Freedom from any need, from any dependency. Complete freedom. So when you invite whatever you're experiencing to come to the presence in which the experience is arising, all these events find their answer in the presence and settle in the presence. And it is from the presence that decisions, that activity, that action arises. Because the questions and the issues have come to presence. They found their peace in presence. And from presence, action is in a way blessed. It is sanctified. It is action that is soaked in peace, soaked in wisdom, soaked in tranquility. Free, completely free from any fear. Completely free from any need, from any pursuit, from any avoidance. And as you become more and more familiar with this, let's say, this return to presence, and this coming from presence, the more you become familiar with that, the more you will find yourself in peace and tranquility. And peace and tranquility, which is freedom and happiness, is what you are looking for in every question that you have. Because when you are in peace, you have no questions. You're just in celebration. You are in joyful celebration. You are in joyful contemplation. Not contemplating anything, but just the self contemplating itself. Presence contemplating itself. Rejoicing in itself. You rejoicing in yourself. Completely free from the world, body, mind. Completely free from any identification.
Magdi?
Yes.
I started the morning out with just this.
I'm sorry, who is speaking?
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's Lina.
Hello, Lina. Hello, Lina.
Oh,
okay.
hi.
Yes, hello, Lina. Okay. Yes, Lina.
I started out this morning with the awareness that I don't know how to word this, but turning awareness back to itself,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's just nothing but peace.
Right. Yes.
And I just realized what you started off with was where I was this morning, but every little annoyance that could have happened to me today, and boom, I was just out of it. I mean, I felt it showed me very clearly how easy it is to leave that exquisite peace and stillness,
right,
to just ridiculous things, They
yes.
gave me the wrong water, charged me for one and gave me another. You just dumb things that were irritating and pulled me out of back to the me, back to rather than just being.
Yeah. Yeah. There are tendencies that are stored in the body that are referred to as vasanas, that are basically mere reactions. Even though you may be in the peace and you may revel in the peace, a certain event might occur in your life. Somebody doesn't meet your expectation, and there is a sort of an, as if it's the body, at the feeling level that is reacting.
Yes.
You haven't even it's as if it's bypassing the thinking process, as if it's already it's stored at the body level, and it's an annoyance that's stored at the body level, and it arises as a sensation, as a contraction in the body. And of course, when it arises, this is a very, very crucial junction, because this is an opportunity at that very moment, Lina, to turn your attention, rather than just going with the annoyance and taking it to the next step, which is, oh gee, why did they act like this? I have told them so many times not to, and they're still not getting it. And then you go into, oh gee, why am I being annoyed with, I don't like being annoyed, I hate myself for being, it's rather than going further with it,
chasing its tail.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to stop and just simply stop.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop and experience what's happening. Experience it so fully that it is allowed to reverberate. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stay as a mass. It's allowed to sort of, like when you throw a stone in the water and it makes ripples, it's allowed to sort of, reverberate, and you are there just being, just simply experiencing it in your bodies. You experience it in your body. You're not thinking about it. When you are thinking about it, Lina,
you're in your mind.
You are separating yourself from the experience. You're turning the experience into a story, a mental story, where there is a you and something else. But when you remain in the presence of this sensation at the feeling level, it's just listening to the echoes and the sounds in your body. And as you are listening, without any effort of itself, it will
dissipate.
It will dissolve in the space.
Mm-hmm.
The space is the space of listening. It's a space of listening. Because listening is impersonal. Listening is presence. In a way, it's as if it's a surrender, but it's not really surrendering me or surrendering anything. It's just simply being in the stillness, which is the space of presence. It's built in, it's inherent to consciousness. Mm-hmm. Presence, stillness, borderless presence is inherent to our true nature. Mm-hmm. And when you remain still with what's arising, it's a very respectful position you are taking, because whatever is arising from universal consciousness, is arising from the cosmic, it's a cosmic event. In religious terms, it is God that's speaking to you.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
By somebody coming and cutting you off in traffic, mm-hmm. or somebody not meeting you at the right time. Let's say they make an appointment with you at 10 o'clock, they show up at 10:30. You've already prepared everything, you've arranged your schedule, and they show up half hour late. It's an event that's coming from consciousness. And by being in complete presence to what is happening, you are doing the highest sadhana, the highest contemplation of presence. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, this does not mean that there isn't intelligence and wisdom. Sometimes there is a need to act, but an action that comes from wisdom and from intelligence is a different action that comes from the me, from the annoyance. You follow?
Yes, I'm with you.
So when there is an annoyance, it is a good time to pause, to allow the presence to speak, to be available to whatever is arising.
Yeah.
And as in presence, there is peace, but there is also wisdom. It's inherent. It's not a personal intelligence. I'm not talking about a personal IQ. I'm talking about universal wisdom.
Yes.
Is inherent to consciousness. And in presence, there is both peace and wisdom. So the need for action, whenever there is a need for action, will arise out of the spontaneity and the intelligence of wisdom, and the directness and the freedom of wisdom.
I love that. I think it just to say to the phrase of it's God talking to me. It's giving me, I mean, that's totally out of, it's like that's just a baby step just to make me stop reaction and be able to, I get it. You know, it's just the words are, anytime I use a word, I say, no, you can't say that because it doesn't do that. You can't go back to awareness. That's all there is. But it doesn't, it stops the initial reactivity and allows what you're talking about to take place.
Yeah, you know, in a way, like all events, Lina, are cosmic events. If you contemplate that there are no personal events, that everything that occurs is impersonal. And it is, the person is an impression. It's the party pooper. It is this little kid that's throwing a tantrum, that's saying, no, I don't want it to rain today. I had planned to go fishing. Oh, no. And they just, you know, trample their feet and give a hard time to everybody. That's the personal impression. Yeah. Personal impression is a party pooper. But outside of this me impression, before the me impression arises, it is peace and happiness. So when an event occurs and it's not met with my personal conditions, what is the problem?
There is none.
It is always my personal conditions and my personal preferences and how I am planning how things should be that creates the issue. Now, it's important to contemplate, what is this me? What is this what is this whole agenda, this whole list of conditions that I believe are so important? They're important for whom? They're important for my happiness? No. There is no way that any condition or any term will make you happy, because any condition is limited. There is a limitation. Hello, Satyani. There is a limitation to whatever the mind expresses, because it operates in the realm of phenomena. And happiness that depends on a phenomenal event is not real happiness. It does not last. It does not It's not sustained. Happiness is complete freedom and the effortless presence of consciousness. And it is what already is on board. You don't need to become happy. You just simply need to cease creating unhappiness. So contemplate, what is it that creates my unhappiness? What creates your unhappiness? It's not God that creates your unhappiness. It's not the weather that creates your unhappiness. It's not the events in the world that create your unhappiness. It is what you want, how you want things to be.
Well, that's what happened today. Things didn't go smoothly the way I wanted them to go, and didn't get all the stuff done that I needed to get done.
Lina, they never do.
I know.
They never do. You know, this does not mean that you don't plan to do things in a certain way.
Yeah,
And, you know,
yeah,
no, but you do it with a certain.
attachment.
You do it right. You do it with a certain lightness.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, a sense of play and
Yeah, we'll
okay.
see.
Right, you see, so then it's like a duck in water. The duck jumps in the water, but they don't get wet. The water runs off their feathers.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, jump in the water, enjoy the water, plan, live whatever speaks to you, but be like the duck that doesn't get wet, meaning do it with a certain lightness and sense of play.
Yes.
Because that's where the beauty is. The beauty is in the lightness and in the sense of play. It's in the freedom.
That's what's coming out of my mouth. The
Yes,
freedom. Yes.
yes. It's in the celebration.
Yes. Ah, yes.
So when these things arises, when these unhappinesses arises, when these contractions arise, Lina, pause. Just don't think about them. Just go to your body.
Yeah.
Locate that sensation in your body. And just lay back a little bit and allow the sensation to just be. And just be in presence with this sensation. And allow the sensation to expand and dissolve in the space that's already there.
Yes. Yeah.
Just noticing the space.
I can see all the times today that I could have done that and didn't. You know. What a wonderful day this has been. I mean, start off with this understanding, if you will, and then all of a sudden to be faced with all the little annoyances, and then to open this up, and then you're saying, well, listen, you know, you didn't stay in that space because you were attached to things going a certain way instead of...
Yeah. Well, Lina, you are not in that space. You are the space.
Oh, yes, I am that space. Oh, that space is all there is.
Yes.
Yes.
It is the I. I am this borderless presence.
Yes.
So you're not in the space. Do not perceive the space as an experience,
right?
As a personal experience.
Agreed.
It's not. You are the space. So when you're feeling the peace and the happiness and the space, notice that there is no me. It's a moment of no self, no personal self. And then the me comes and says, "Oh, I have this space. I am this space, and I'm losing it."
Yep.
What I, Lina?
Yeah. Right. What I? There is no I. I mean, the morning started off beautifully with that.
Forget about this morning. Just be now. This pure presence.
Certainly is relaxing.
it's a fresh moment. Every moment is complete freedom.
Yeah.
Just forget about the mind, where it wants to go, yesterday, this morning, tomorrow. Celebrate the peace. Celebration is now. It's now. The eternity of now. The eternity of presence.
Celebrate the peace of the moment.
Absolutely celebrate the peace, the beauty, the love, the happiness, the tranquility. You cannot celebrate that when you are thinking about this morning and what happened to me this morning. That's movement, that's turbulence.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
always like to understand.
Well,
That's the mind just doing its
what
thing.
it's not understanding that you love. It's freedom and happiness that you love.
Yes.
Because understanding, we want understanding because it makes us feel happy. It makes us feel, oh wow, yeah, I got it. Or it makes us feel, I'm not talking about this personal sense of ego, but this all desires, all desires lead us to desirelessness because we desire something in order to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And happiness is desirelessness.
Mm.
So all desires are desiring desirelessness.
Yes.
So you just go to desirelessness right now. Why why pray and work and hope for desirelessness tomorrow
When it's
when
right there.
when you can celebrate desirelessness right now, meaning peace right now. Peace and tranquility right now. That
Hmm. It's beautiful, Magdi.
absolutely consciousness is beauty, love, happiness, freedom.
It's so easy.
Yeah. Once it starts revealing itself, it's really is nothing to do. It's more of ceasing to do than doing anything.
Yeah. No effort.
Yeah, there are habits, tendencies at the body level now, Lina. Much more than at the mind level. It's at the body level.
Mm-hmm.
Don't 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 go up here. Go into your
I
body.
got you. Yeah. My body is speaking to me
Yes. Go to
today.
your
I mean,
go to your body and invite the sensation into the space, into the presence.
yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful.
Thank you, Magdi.
Yes. Please say hello to Jack.
I will.
So if there are any questions. Hello, Alvaro. Yeah, yeah, good to see you, Alvaro. Hmm. Yes, yes, I understand. Yes, yes. Hmm. 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 Yes, Gonzalo. y- Uh, I'm sorry, Alvaro. Yes, Alvaro. Alvaro, you are making a let me see how to say it. You are making a distinction between you and consciousness, a distinction that has no reality to it. You, as consciousness, are the one and only reality. There is no other reality. So, you, as consciousness, are the one and only doer. You are, as consciousness, are freedom. You are, as consciousness, are the creator. And you, as consciousness, are causeless peace and happiness. But when you imagine Alvaro, when you imagine I am Alvaro, I am a father, I have responsibilities, and you separate the Alvaro from consciousness, then you are creating a distinction that is artificial, that is not a real distinction. You can be Alvaro as consciousness, meaning meaning consciousness dreaming the Father, dreaming Alvaro, and uh, and celebrating the fatherhood, the uh, uh, providing shelter, food and clothing, and dealing with these dream events that are your dream and that have no problems in them. The problem is when you make a distinction between Alvaro the father, or Alvaro the man, or Alvaro whatever, and consciousness. So then you say, well, consciousness is the freedom, consciousness is taking care of everything. Me, Alvaro, I don't feel like doing anything, I don't know, whatever, I need to do this and don't need to do that. But there is no distinction. This is an artificial distinction. So you need to contemplate that Alvaro is actually consciousness, that the real The reality is consciousness, and consciousness is complete freedom and happiness. It does not, as maybe you are saying, experience any pressure. Oh, what will happen to me if I don't get this contract? What will happen to me if I'm not able to accomplish this task? That's not a conversation that consciousness ever has. It is a conversation that this supposedly Alvaro is having. And it's an unhappy conversation because the unhappiness is already there. It's in the separation. The unhappiness has already infected the space when there has been this imagined separation away from consciousness of some entity, some father or some person. And once there is that unhappiness, which is the virus, then all the thoughts and all the activities and all the intentions and everything has that infection in it, has that trace of unhappiness in it, and is trying to find the happiness, is trying to find the way, is trying to find the answers. But as long as it's separated, as long as it's looking out away from consciousness, it will continue in that state of confusion and unhappiness. But once it turns its attention and asks itself, wait a minute, what is the reality? What is my reality? What is the reality of Alvaro? You will find yourself asking what is the reality of consciousness. Because when you ask what is the reality of Alvaro, you are asking what is the reality of this presence, of this perception, of this thought, of this sensation. Because this is what Alvaro is in terms of thoughts and sensations and perceptions. Thoughts about my children, about my house, about the sensation in your body, about what's going to happen. So this is really when you turn your attention to what is this Alvaro that has separated itself from consciousness. What is Alvaro? You find yourself asking, what is the reality of my experience? And when you ask yourself what is the reality of this perception, you have no choice but to come to consciousness, because without consciousness, there is no perception. And when you come to consciousness, you are coming to peace and freedom and happiness, because consciousness has no mission and is not repairing anything, is not trying to fix anything. It is complete peace and happiness, and it lives out of the peace and the happiness, Alvaro. It celebrates, it explores, it says, oh, well, let me try this job. It feels good. I like the people. Let me see. And it does that, but it does it out of the setup, out of the freedom, out of the happiness. It's not saying, oh, let me try that. Oh my God, what will happen if I don't get it? You see? That it doesn't say, what's going to happen to me if I don't get it? It just goes, oh, yeah, it sounds good. It feels good. I like the people. I thought about it. I'll try it. And it goes where it goes. There is a freedom from consequences. There is freedom from the results. It's not a contracted fist. It's an open, relaxed body mind that is so happy. It's so joyful to be in the presence of people who are so loving and relaxed. And I'm not talking about being careless or being irresponsible. No, but living out of the happiness, living out of the freedom, living out of the celebration of what is real. And what is real is consciousness. And consciousness has no borders to it. It's complete freedom. So, yeah, I don't know if I answered fully, if I addressed fully your question, Alvaro. Alvaro. Yes. 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 Mhm, 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 mhm. Mhm, mhm, mhm. I'm sorry. There is a background noise. Maybe. Who is that? Mhm. Okay. 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 I'm sorry. One moment. One moment, Alvaro. If you could please, everybody who is listening here, if you could please mute your mic. There is a background noise. We're picking up your conversation. Please take a minute and mute your mic. Thank you. Um, so Alvaro, then, so if there is an Alvaro still identification, then that's what you contemplate. That's your contemplation. So you have a good topic of contemplation, which is the sense that there is Alvaro. So ask yourself, but not just in your mind, but by also looking, what is what is Alvaro that I'm experiencing? How do I experience myself? How do I experience this Alvaro? Ask yourself, how do I experience Alvaro? Obviously, you are experiencing Alvaro because you are telling me, you are speaking about it. So you're experiencing something called Alvaro. So ask yourself, you don't need to tell me, but you can ask yourself, okay, what am I experiencing that I'm calling Alvaro? What am I experiencing that seems to me or that appears to me as Alvaro? That's your contemplation. So you might find, well, I'm experiencing Alvaro as a feeling, as I feel like I'm Alvaro. For example, I'm just brainstorming. I'm experiencing a feeling, an Alvaro feeling. I feel like I am Alvaro. That there is something here that's me, that's I called Alvaro. If that's the case, then it's very beautiful. You can turn your attention to that. You can look at that. You say, okay, well, let me look, let me explore that more. Let me just continue to get more into it. Let me be more open to understand it more, to see more, to 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 let that Alvaro reveal itself to me more. You follow? Instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, I feel like I'm Alvaro," uh, you know, uh, just and move on. No, just if you say I'm feeling like I'm Alvaro, then stop right there and explore that. Explore that. Well, what is it made of? How is it arising? What is its shape? What is the shape of that feeling? What is what does it what does it really feel like? Does it have a color? How does it move? How does it appear? Where is it? Is it in what part of my body is it? How does it transform itself? It's just you ask yourself questions, and through your own questioning that you can come through the sensation to consciousness, because you are getting closer, you're opening yourself more and more to it. You are not standing away from it and saying, oh, I feel like I'm Alvaro and it's really bothering me and I'm unhappy about it. That's not enough. You're standing too far away from that sensation. You have to go to it. It's there. It's not standing 5 meters away from you. It is happening very intimately. Yes? It's very intimate. Because it is very intimate, it is available for your exploration. You see? It's right there. So explore all sorts of questions about it. What are its phenomenal qualities or characteristics? Does it have any shape, any size, any weight? Because what you are contemplating, Alvaro, you're contemplating consciousness. Everything points to consciousness. But you have to look at it close. From a distance, it seems to be some form, some object, something real. But when you get closer to it, you will find that its reality is consciousness. In other words, there is nothing real of its own. There is no objective reality. There is no independent reality from the reality of consciousness. That it is consciousness that is appearing as this sensation. But it's through this exploration, through this contemplation, that the structure that keeps appearing starts to become more and more transparent. And it loses its the impression of an independent reality. Because the reality of all impressions, even the reality of the Alvaro impression, is the reality of consciousness. The mind perceives from the distance, it perceives an external reality. It perceives a reality that belongs to the body, or it perceives a reality that belongs to a sensation. But when you get closer, when you start to contemplate what is the reality of any sensation, of any perception, of any thought, because the thought and the sensation are sort of connected. What is the reality of the thought and the contractions that comes with it? You have to look really closely, Alvaro, and you will find that it has no independent reality. But that is not enough. There is some reality, because this perception right now, Alvaro, is not nothing. It's not nothing. There is a reality to this perception. Like in your dream, in your night dream, when you are perceiving an elephant, although there is no real elephant, you cannot say that the dream is nothing. It is something. What is this something? And this something, you will find, is not the elephant. It's not the perception. It is the dreamer. It is consciousness. You see, so it's not enough to realize that this impression, this me impression, is nothing, but it's important to realize that there is a reality, and that the reality is consciousness, is awareness. You see? And so when when there is a realization that the reality of my experience is consciousness, there is something, not nothing. The next step, the next phase, is for you to explore, well, what is this consciousness? Not to think about it, but to look directly what are the qualities of consciousness. And you will find that consciousness has no size, no shape, no weight, no limitations. It's not contained in any, there are no borders to it. This is when you're contemplating consciousness, you'll find there are no borders. I use the term consciousness and awareness the same way. When you're contemplating awareness, you'll find there are no borders. And then you realize that what does not have any borders and yet it's real cannot be contained in a person, cannot be contained in any container. But yet it is very real. And consciousness is what is perceiving this perception right now. Without consciousness, there would not be any perception, Alvaro. And consciousness is you, because you are the one who is perceiving. So if you are the one who is perceiving and it's consciousness that perceives, then you are consciousness. And consciousness is not contained in any container. So this perception is appearing in the openness of presence. It's made out of consciousness. Its very fabric. It's soaked through and through in consciousness. It is completely made out of consciousness. All perceptions, what we refer to as the world, through the perceptions, through the senses. What we refer to as the world is made out of, their perceptions and sensations, and their fabric is consciousness. Because without consciousness, there are no trees. What would a tree be? Even if you think of a tree or you perceive a tree, what is a tree without consciousness? It is through the reality of consciousness that a tree is known. It's like in the night dream. It is through the reality of the dreamer that the elephant in the dream is perceived. Sometimes in your night dream, Alvaro, you are swimming. You're swimming and you feel like you are swimming in the water or in the lake. But in fact, you are not swimming. You are in bed. But it is through the dreamer, through the reality of you, that there is this experience of swimming. And the experience of swimming and the sensation of swimming is made out of you. So you are being swimming without getting wet, because when you wake up in the morning, you are not wet. You are totally dry. You see, that's the beauty of consciousness. That consciousness does not get wet. It does not get broken. When there is a fire, consciousness does not burn. The wood burns, the objects burn, but consciousness does not burn. You see? Yeah. So whatever you're experiencing, go to it. Don't stand apart from it. Go to it with your entire being to explore it. As you go to it and you explore it, it reveals itself to be consciousness. Because there is a reality. It's a reality of consciousness. And then you can explore, well, what is this consciousness? And you just as we went through this together, this is the sadhana that you should be sort of contemplating. Yes. Okay, Avo. Nice to see you, Avo. So if anyone has a question. Yes. Hello, Mari. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, Mari. The body is very sensitive and has a very good memory, better than the memory of the mind. We can forget a lot of things, but the body remembers, has a longer term memory. I like to think of like Play-Doh. The body is like Play-Doh. It's whatever impressions you make in the Play-Doh, they just stay, in the body, while the mind is more like a stream flowing. It's just constantly flowing, and it's easy to forget, but the body remembers. Most of the me hurt are at the body level. They're stored in the body, and they get triggered. They get triggered in a variety of ways. There's infinite ways in which they get triggered. They get triggered by a sound. They can get triggered by a certain perception. They can get triggered by a thought, a flash that triggers. But the main point I wanted to share with you is that the 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 hurt me is at the body level, but also at the mind level. When we repeat a certain story, or when we revisit a certain, let's say, memory, and you know very well that memory is not very faithful. Memory has a strong bias to it because somehow it is very selective. It remembers certain events, and out of what it remembers, it forms a story. This does not mean that there aren't events that actually have occurred. I just wanted to say that there is also a certain give and take with memory. But when we revisit over and over a certain story or a certain memory, and in visiting this memory or the story, we take on the position of a separate person, of a me, of a Maori or a Magdi, or of a person, of a woman or a man or a young child. We take on the position of a certain form. That form that is maintained. This is how the me impression is maintained. It is maintained via memory, because memory is the impression of time, and the impression of time is always relates to me, to a me person. So through thought and memory, there is the me impression that is maintained. And of course, through our perceptions, through our senses, we also perceive a world that relates to a perceiver. And from the me impression, there is a separation between the perceiver and the world. In other words, from that me impression, we do not experience a wholeness. We experience a sense of separation from the world through our perception of space, and from ourselves, meaning me in time, through thought and through memory, and me in time. What I'm pointing at is that the hurt me is made out of and maintained via thought, and is stored in the body via sensations. So the remedy to the me, and the reason why I'm saying the remedy is because the me is a party pooper. Whenever it arises, there isn't much happiness. There is an issue, there is a problem. So the way to deal with this, please, if you can mute your mic, whoever is, one moment, let me say, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Thank you. So the way to deal with this party pooper has to occur on both dimensions. First, at the mind dimensions, meaning at the thought dimension. Whenever the hurt me or the me arises, it is important to ask yourself whether in fact this me, the I, is a person. That is the question. Am I a woman? Am I a person? It's the way you know your thoughts, Marty, is through awareness. You follow? Without awareness, without consciousness, I use the term awareness and consciousness, in the same meaning. Without consciousness, you could not perceive a thought. What would a thought be without consciousness, right? So the way you know your thoughts is via consciousness. In other words, a thought is a mind event that appears to you as consciousness. The reason why I'm saying to you as consciousness is because it is you who is conscious. It is you who perceives the thought. Yes? Yes. So thoughts are known to you. You as consciousness. So you are consciousness perceiving the thought that says, poor little me, or oh my goodness, what happened to me? Which is a thought. I know I haven't gotten to the feeling level yet, but I'm just talking about the thought level. It's a thought that's arising in consciousness. And you as consciousness is perceiving the thought. It's really important for you to contemplate whenever a thought arises about me, that you in fact are not a person, you are consciousness. As long as you mistake yourself to be, or you identify yourself to be a person, there is no way out. You have to come to the understanding that you are consciousness. So that's the sadhana, that's the work that you need to do at the mind level, at the thought level. Now at the body level, there is the me feeling, the hurt me, that feeling, that's the poor me, or the sad me, or the hurt me, or the wounded me, whatever. Now that sensation, Maori, the way to operate with it is to turn your attention to the body. So you have to turn your attention to your body and try to locate within your body where is that sensation, without any intention. In other words, we're not trying to get rid of the sensation. We're not trying to fix it. We're not trying to save it. We're not trying to remedy it. We're just basically trying to locate it. We're going to it. We are open to it. We're basically just saying, okay, where are you? Where are you? Where are you and what are you? In a way, we already have determined, or maybe we haven't yet, but I'm moving maybe too fast, I don't know. But we have determined that there is a sensation at the body level. Yes? There is a sensation. It hurt me, or whatever, a sensation. Yes. So we take any sensation that's arising. I mean, in time you will be able to sort of be with just this one sensation, even though it morphs. You're still just with this one sensation. So you go to the sensation, you say, well, I know that you're a sensation. Where are you? You locate it at the body level, wherever it is. It might be in a specific part of your body, or it might be a general sensation. And then what you do is basically you turn your attention to the presence, to the spacious presence, to the borderless presence, that into which the sensation is appearing. And the presence has no borders. Awareness has no borders. So you relax yourself, because you're not on any mission. You're simply in the exploration of what is going on. It's a very friendly exploration. It's friendly because we're not trying to repair anything. We're just there with what's happening, in the openness. You release and relax the sensation into the space. In time, if you do that regularly, that sensation will start to dissolve in the space. As it arises, it dissolves in the space. Mm. Yeah, but who cares about unhappiness? Do you? All these thoughts sound very unhappy to me. They sound like, big time party poopers. Who cares about party poopers? Well, you think you can be happy via any impermanent object? You think you can be happy via a relationship, or you can be happy via money, or you can be happy via retirement, you can be happy via a home? All these things are impermanent. Happiness is unconditional, does not depend on any object, on any form, on any thought, on any experience. Happiness is our innate nature. Happiness is a quality of consciousness, Mari. It's not a quality of an object. You know what I mean? If you're following happiness in the world, body, mind, you will not find it. You will not find, not only you will not find it, you'll be spinning your wheels in vain. You'll be wasting a lot of valuable time. It's better for you to turn your attention to what is permanent, because only what is permanent can deliver the permanent happiness. And there is only one permanency, which is the reality of consciousness. Not the body, not the woman, not the money, not the house, not the relationship, not the retirement. That is not what is permanent. There is only one permanent, Mari, and that is the reality of consciousness. Consciousness, Gamser, go ahead. Yes, yes, yeah, yes. Consciousness is the perfume of consciousness is love, love in the heart, love in the heart, beauty in the world, beauty in the world, peace in the body, and wisdom and intelligence. All these are qualities of consciousness. But the way we understand love in the mundane understanding of love is a love of an object to another object. I love this. I love you. There is, it's a separate, an object A that loves object B. But if you really go to your experience of love, Mari, you will find that whenever you experience love, there is no me and no other. In a way, in love, it's the dissolution of two, the dissolution of duality into one. In love, there is no other. You're completely dissolved in love. You follow? So love is not from an object towards another object. Love is the end of objects. It's a dissolution of objects into oneness, into wholeness. So in a way, it's not that you love another. Love loves itself. Love is eternal. Love is the reality. There's consciousness and love and beauty and wisdom and freedom and intelligence and truth are one. They're all the aspects like a kaleidoscope, like a diamond, various facets of consciousness. So I encourage you to stay with the happy thoughts and to celebrate your freedom and your happiness right now. Don't wait. Don't postpone. Don't buy into the mass virus of me in time, me and the world. Don't buy into that. That's unhappy. That is completely unhappy. Happiness is innate to our true nature. You follow? Don't postpone. How does it fight it? You're right. You're right. You're right. That's true. You cannot be happy. A me cannot be happy. You are happiness. The me is this mortal object. If you can please shut your mic or mute your mic, please. There is a background noise. Yes, Mari, the me cannot be happy. But what you truly are is not a me. You see? You are happiness already. You see, me says I'm going to be happy tomorrow. I'm going to be happy in time. You see, that's what the me says. And this is why the me is not happy, because it's thinking about happiness in time. The me is the illusion. It's not what you truly are. The me is a mind event that appears to you. You need to explore, what is this me, Marty? Ask yourself, what is this me? Am I a me or am I consciousness? As long as you believe yourself to be a me, you cannot be happy. Because the me is a separation from wholeness. It's not a real separation, but it's felt and believed to be real. It's experienced as if it is real. Of course, we understand it's not real, but you need to contemplate it enough until it becomes absolutely clear to you that you are not a me, that you are consciousness. And then you need to explore what are the attributes, what are the qualities of consciousness. But first, you need to come to the realization that you are consciousness and not a me. So don't listen to the me chatter. Contemplate, what is this me? Or even better than that, instead of contemplating what is this me, notice that the me arises as thoughts and sensation, and it arises to you being consciousness, awareness. Because without consciousness, what would the thought me be? It wouldn't even exist. You need consciousness in order to know any thought. If you think of your mother right now, without consciousness, the thought of your mother wouldn't even arise. Consciousness is the reality of all experiences. And you are conscious. You are. It is you that is this consciousness. I am consciousness. I am. I am. Yes. No. Yes. Absolutely. It is consciousness that is experiencing thoughts and sensations and memories. And yes. I mean, when you say I should have called her, that's a thought. And it's consciousness that is appearing as that thought. And then it goes to a feeling, right, to a sensation, bodily sensation, and it is consciousness that experiences sensation. Because without consciousness, what would be your stomach ache without consciousness? Tell me. Absolutely, there would not be such a thing as a stomach ache. Yeah, without consciousness, consciousness is the reality of everything. Everything that you experience, every sensation, every perception. Okay, so there is a thought. Again, there is a thought and a sensation. A thought, oh, I have to fix it. And then there is a sensation in your chest or in your shoulder or in your neck of tightness. I need to fix it. I haven't fixed it yet. I should have fixed it last year. And a year later, I haven't fixed it yet. All that sensation and the thought, I should fix it, they both arise in consciousness. It is consciousness that is the reality of all thoughts and all sensations, no exceptions. There aren't two realities, Marty. So rather than living the images that appear on the screen, why don't you recognize yourself as being the screen instead of chasing every image that arises on the screen? Goodness, how exhausting that sounds. It sounds exhausting. But rather than chasing and trying to fix every darn image that arises on the screen, why don't you simply be the screen that you already are, which is peace and tranquility, unstained by anything? Like a mirror. Every image that arises in the mirror, when the image is gone, the mirror is still pristine. When there is a fire in front of the mirror reflects the fire. When there are clouds in front of the mirror reflects the clouds. But the mirror stays, the mirror doesn't catch on fire. So recognize yourself instead of chasing and trying to fix every thought and sensation that arises. It's like, it's so unhappy. It's exhausting just to talk about it. Don't do it. Recognize yourself and recognize God. Know yourself and know God. You are not a woman. You are not an object. You are not a form. All these appear to you. You as consciousness. Consciousness is not a phenomenal event. Phenomenal events are the dreams of consciousness. Just relax your body-mind. Mori, relax your body-mind. Celebrate the peace and tranquility of presence. Don't postpone it for tomorrow. Absolutely not. I mean, you know, I I love happy thoughts. Like nice to invite friends for dinner and let's go for a walk, and just hanging out with Tara. Just you know, uh, writing to some friends, having a satsang like this with friends. That's all very sweet and happy. That I love. Don't believe it, because deep down within ourselves we know happiness, because in everything we do, Mari, we are seeking happiness. In relationships, we're seeking happiness. In the world, we're seeking happiness. In our body, we're seeking happiness. We in everything that we do, we are seeking happiness. How would we ever seek happiness if we did not know it? You see, we know happiness and we are seeking it because we believe, we have believed, or maybe we believe that happiness is something out there. We have somehow forgotten that what we are innate happiness, that our innate nature is happiness, beauty and freedom and love, peace. Our innate nature is peace and happiness, love and beauty. Well, you see, whenever we forget that we are consciousness, that we are this open presence, and we mistake ourselves to be a man or a woman, immediately there is fear, because the man and the woman are mortal, are impermanent. Immediately there is unhappiness. And because consciousness cannot stand unhappiness, then we start seeking happiness. In other words, we're seeking to know ourselves, to recollect that indeed we are not a body-mind, that we are consciousness, but that consciousness is innate happiness, does not seek happiness in any impermanent object. or in any experience that are fleeting experiences. You're welcome. You're welcome. If there are any questions. Okay, well, if there aren't any questions, I thank you very much for joining me. It's very lovely to be with you, and we'll see you. We'll see you next week. So we'll meet next Thursday. You're welcome. Same time on Thursday next week. Okay. So.
Thank you.